and cut through it. There's a few different ways to do this. Some people leave the jowl on the head. Some people leave the jowl on the shoulder. It's an old butcher's trick. Butchers know that commercially they're going to sell more shoulders than they are heads. So if they leave the jowl on the shoulder, they get an extra pound or 2 or 3, and that way they can get a little more money. A little shady, but who cares? Butchers got to make a living somehow, right? So
those poor butchers.
Well, we went ahead and made jowl bacon with our last batch at Heritage Prairie.
yeah, it's great. We use our jowls for mainly for garnish for our mortadella, which is real traditional raw jowl that gets diced and boiled. But we also do some curing, so we'll put some of it up for guanciale, which is always fun. So what I'm looking for is the seam where the jowl meets the cheek. Pull this out of there. That's the tongue. Anybody eat pork tongues? I love pork tongues.
Yeah.
How different is from beef tongue?
Not terribly. I mean, obviously it doesn't taste quite as intense, but it's prepared pretty much the same way. They make great tacos and stuff like that. I really like to boil them and peel them and then char them up on the grill, which is really delicious. Nice garnish for a salad.
Now, were you a butcher before a chef, or a chef before butcher?
I was a chef first.
How did that help you with butchering?
Well, so a long time ago, I was working as a sous chef at a restaurant downtown, and I had become obsessed with a book called Cooking by Hand by Paul Bertoli, which, in my opinion, is the greatest cookbook ever written. And there's a large chapter in there about the history of meat curing and his approach to it, and his approach to whole animal usage. And it just sort of changed everything for me about how I cooked and how I thought about food, and it really made me want to butcher a pig. So I was working at a place, and the chef let me buy a whole pig, and it was huge. It was like 1.5 times the size of this. And I did a terrible job. But
You did a terrible job, or you?
Well, thinking back, I know, like I remember it very well, and I know that I did not do well. But back then there weren't a whole lot of resources. There weren't any books. No one was doing demos like this. And I just kind of had to go trial by fire a little bit. And, over the years I met a lot of people, and things started popping up online, and books started appearing, and I was able to learn a lot more. But I did all kinds of stuff. We cooked a lot of it, we cured a lot of it, we made some really delicious pancetta, we made some really horrible salami. And it was just an amazing experience, and it's all I ever wanted to do after that. So eventually I opened a restaurant and decided that I was only going to get whole animals, with the exception of beef, because we just didn't have anywhere to put whole beef, or even large. We eventually started doing quarters, but we did.